Welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be focusing on adding and subtracting polynomials. But before we get into subtracting and adding polynomials, I would like to go over some of the things we talked about yesterday. So on your notes, I would like for you to go ahead and fill out each definition. I'll pause the video so that you can give what you think the definition is. All right. So the definition of a monomial is going to be a polynomial with one term. So that's the definition you should have got. An example of a polynomial with one term is x squared. Another example would be 3b cubed. Each of these have only one term. A binomial is a polynomial with two terms. An example of a binomial would be x plus 5. Or you could even do 3c squared minus c. Both of those would be examples of binomials. We also have a trinomial, which isn't included in these notes. Remember, a trinomial has three terms. A polynomial is any amount of terms. This means that it can have as many terms as it wants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. It could continue going. Some examples of a polynomial would be x squared, which is also a monomial, x plus 2, which is also a binomial, x squared plus 3x minus 5, which is a trinomial, or we could even have four terms, x cubed plus 5x minus 3, let's do x squared, minus 3x minus 2. That would be an example of a polynomial with four terms. So we should be good on our notes from yesterday. Reviewing this information will help us with what we have to do today. Now, if you would, let's go ahead and flip to the other side. And let's look at the notes, and I'm pulling them up on my board as we speak. Let's look at the adding polynomials. This will be very simple. All right, so for adding and subtracting polynomials, we'll start with an addition problem. Now, it's very simple to do an addition problem. All we're looking to do is combine like terms. Now, I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. First, I would identify my powers. I want to add things that are the same. So here I have a y squared. When I look at the other side of the y, or other side of the plus sign, do I have a y squared? Yes. So to combine those, all I need to do is add the coefficients. So 3 plus 7 is going to be 10y squared. Next, I would add my y's. Here I have a 5y. Do I have a 5y on this side? No. So since I do not have a 5y, I would just simply write plus 5y. Lastly, I want to add my constants, -6 and -9. Notice, neither one of these have y's. So -6 plus -9 would give me an answer of -15. At this point, I would be finished with my problem. Now this is just one way to solve an adding polynomials problem. Let's go back and let's look at this problem again from a different view. Okay, so rather than doing it this way, we can also do it in a vertical way. Write this one down beside it. So to do it vertically, all we're going to do is take one polynomial and write it down. Then we will take the second polynomial and we want to line up what is the same. So we have plus 7y squared would be the same as 3y squared, so we're going to line those two up. We had no 5y, so there's going to be nothing here. And then we had a negative 9, which would go with our negative 6. So once we have this all together, we can simply just add straight down. So what's 3 plus 7? 10y squared. What's 5y plus nothing? Plus 5y. And then what's negative 6 plus negative 9? Negative 15. So we still get the same answer just by doing it in a vertical format. Let's look at another example, but this time let's do subtraction. So in our subtracting example, there we are. In our subtraction example, we always have to remember to distribute the negative. That is key in solving these problems. So one way I like to do this is I actually like to change this to an addition problem. So what I will do is I will change or keep everything in the first part the same, which is 4x squared minus 3y squared plus 5xy. And then what I will do is I will take my negative and distribute it to each part of my polynomial. Now, when I multiply this negative times a negative, I get a positive. Negative times 8xy is negative 8xy. Negative times 6x squared is negative 6x squared. And then negative times 3y squared is negative 3y squared. Notice how it just changed the sign in each of the parts. Now, from here, you can just combine like terms by combining what is the same. So, do I have a x squared? Yes, I have a negative 6x squared. So, what I do, since this is addition, I'm going to add 4 plus negative 6. 4 plus negative 6 will give me an answer of negative 2x squared. Next, I want to find my y squares. So to find my y squares, I look at my other side and notice that I also have y squares. So here I have negative 3 plus negative 3. So negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6y squared. Lastly, I'm going to add together my xy's. So when I add together my xy's, I identify both. And notice that I have 5 plus negative 8. 5 plus negative 8 will give me negative 3xy. This would be my final answer. Now notice, with this type of problem, I could have also did the vertical model. Either one will work here, but the key to any subtraction problem is that you have to remember to distribute the negative. If you do not distribute the negative, then you will make a huge mistake and miss this problem. So always make sure that you check the sign in the middle, and if it's negative, you distribute. If it's positive, then you can just combine like terms.